Hi folks, Sarah here again. We're going to do some shoulder flexion today. Shoulder flexion is a great shoulder position that we use quite frequently in training. Pull-ups, if you're doing any pull-ups, if you're doing overhead press, handstands, we want to make sure that you have a really good shoulder flexion. So part of that movement prerequisite kind of stance on things is that you want to have a little bit more range of motion than you're going to use, and not just passive range of motion, but active range of motion, which we call mobility. So what I'm trying to say here is that we want you, if you're going to be in a handstand here, we want you to have here actively. Um, we don't want this to be like the very end of your active range of motion when you're trying your very hardest to pull your arm back. That's as far as you can go. We want a little cushion there. We're definitely a little stronger, you know, inside of not the very end of the active range. So if you're trying to do an overhead press, if you're trying to do a pull up, if you're trying to do a handstand, and you're, barely getting your arms up over your head, what winds up happening then is that this goes. And so as you can kind of see, I have to arch my back. And if you're loading, you wind up loading down here inadvertently. And so again, this is how that whole concept of better joint independence leads to better joint interdependence. And so we're not borrowing money from our back basically every time we're doing an overhead press. So to develop this position, we're going to work on some shoulder flexion. And again, first you want to make sure you have rotation. So if you take a look at somebody's shoulder and they don't have great flexion, cool, but we first want to make sure they have capsule space. And so we make sure that people have capsule space by assessing whether or not the joint rotates. That might sound a little bit weird, but if you really think about that, if a capsule is super tight, it limits the amount that you can rotate. So first address internal and external rotation before addressing flexion. And if you get a pass on the internal and external rotation, then start working on your shoulder flexion. So those kind of capsule, single joint capsule stretches that we do, like the sleeper stretch, and then that external rotation with the yoga block and the body face down, those are a really deeper tissue capsule-based stretch. When you stretch the arm out, the tissues are going across multiple joints. It makes it more of the superficial tissues that we're stretching. So we're dealing more with kind of the lats and like the broader muscles of the shoulder when we're doing this flexion stretch here. And so you can do this in a couple different ways. You can go with a chair, kneeling, grabbing this position here. You can stand, grab this position here. You can also go up on a wall or something here. If you're in a gym, you can grab a barbell. So if you're going to do an overhead press, a great easy way to do like kind of a pre mobility, like open up that position, like we like to call coupled mobility. So just put your hand on your bar and do some quick PAILs there to kind of give yourself a little bit more freedom from any neurological tightness. Okay, so let's get right into this. I'm going to pick the chair and we're going to hold this stretch for 1 minute starting now. And you guys can, if you want, you could also use a yoga block laying flat on the ground. Try to get your scap open in this position. I like to elevate the scap a little bit. And I guess the reason that I like to do that is because it frees up a little bit more room for this humerus. You can pull down, but I don't know. I get more of a stretch to my lat, obviously, when that tissue is open. You can also, if you can, kind of grab onto something a little bit in traction a little bit, so kind of pull away as much as you can without toppling from yourself. If you want to hold the stretch for longer, you can pause this video. I would recommend if you need like a therapeutic window going up to like 3 minutes on either side, so for a 6-minute total stretch. But right now we're going to start a PAILs contraction. So you're going to start to kind of draw the scap back a little bit now to tighten that lat, and you're going to push down as well. So we're kind of combining that draw back and push down. And hold, kind of ramp that up if you can. If you have sketchy shoulders, don't go past like a 5 or 6 and hold for a little bit longer. But if your shoulders are good to go, then you're going to sort of spread that tension, keep pushing, front, the other arm, supporting arm is also tight, core is tight, legs are tight, face is tight, and hold. And relax. Okay, make sure your rib cage is up here too if you can, because that's going to just help this be a better position. And then we're going to rails. And so to rails, you're going to try to lift the hand off of the chair. I'm just past my end range, so it won't actually come off of the chair. And hold for 10, 9, 8, 2, 1, and relax. Let's see if we can get into a deeper stretch position. And we're going to hold that for 1 more minute. Back bends. This is another key player if you're going to do a back bend. Having beyond straight up and down shoulder flexion is pretty crucial. Again, otherwise it goes all into your low back. "15 seconds left. All right, we're going to immediately use this position. So we're not going to leave the position yet. We're just going to come up to where we can work actively. And we're going to make 5 slow circles in one direction. 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure that your everything is straight. Straight elbow, straight wrist. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then behind your head and extend. Behind the head and extend. Behind the head and really push it. Keep that chair super close so that you're having to fight to get over it. Oh, okay. See, now you see why it's strength training? Okay, other side. Ready, go. So that was just 4 minutes that we did all that stuff, in case you're wondering. So if you have 8 minutes, you can do these things. If you can, try to pull your rib cage up and hollow. Just kind of drives a little bit more tension into the shoulder. "15 seconds. Okay, we're going to start to do PAILs. So you're going to suck that shoulder down and also push down. Essentially, think of PAILs as resisting the stretch. Keep spiraling tension up, spread it through the rest of your body, and hold. And relax. A little deeper if you can. And then rails, try to reach away and up. And relax. See if you can get a little bit deeper. Keep pulling that rib cage up. Keep your elbow straight. Okay, ready? And lift up and circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, behind the head. And up. Ooh, behind the head. And up. Behind the head. And extend. Behind the head. And extend. Oh, God. All right. Oh, okay. That was straight up shoulder flexion. I hope it works out well for you and it gives you some improvement if you are an athlete that does anything overhead. Have a great one. See ya.